another of those times when God came and I felt him like he was standing with me. And he said, you see how that garden feels? That's what your life will feel like for a while. And so I think my husband very wisely looked at it and said, you know, you've never had a real sabbatical in all these years of ministry, where you just take some time out, no responsibilities, nothing. Let's trust God for our finances, but step out for a year. So I was home for a year, and phone stops ringing, email. So one time I remember telling my husband, I think my email has a problem. He said, why? I have not received an email for like a week. So he says, okay, go to your Yahoo or Gmail and then send yourself an email. Ding! It comes through. I'm like, people are not talking to me. And then I remember telling Goi that. Goi laughed. During my last 6 months, I told, hey, Goi, things are changing. Goi told me, it will even be worse. So I reminded him during his political stint, Goi, it will be worse. And he told me, people move on. Don't take it personally.
Yes.
People move on. Because
wow.
There are many times people connect with you because of what you do and who you are.
And you were in an office at that time also?
Yes.
You were in an office?
Yes.
The office is still there?
Yes.
But you're just not there?
And things are moving and people need to connect and move. And I remember going through a season where I was wondering, what is going on? What is going on? And I thought, instead of being idle, I want to landscape my garden at home. So I called a few friends. Hey, it is a lucrative business. It was expensive. So I backed down. I went to a friend who's my roommate's sister.
Yeah.
So she came and told me, okay, sister's price. She gave me an amount. I thought, hey, it's expensive. I can't do this. Then I thought, what is so hard about landscaping? And I'm home. I can do this. Let me go Google. Let me do things. So I started Googling. Then I met a young guy who was a new landscaper at church. And I told him what I want to do. He came, looked. I used to say my garden is mature. He told me, no, it's unkempt. It's overgrown. So he told me, if you want to work on this garden, we need to cut off everything.
Yeah.
I told him, no. Do you know where I got this plant? Do you know how long this took me to do this? Do you know how? So this is during that 1 year I'm out of church, chapel. So he kept coming. Then one day he told me, you know, I'm going to start charging you because every time I come, we're not making a decision. So the next time I come, I'll start charging consultation fees. So I braced up. I called him. I said, okay, I'm ready. He checked in with 10 men. I think he knew, here we go full blast. They chopped my garden. They dug, they were digging all the grass out.
Yeah.
It was, what I thought was mature garden was now soil. Then the next day it rained. And it was just mud. And I remember standing by my window, I looked at I actually cried. I said, now what is this? It looked bad. Another of those times when God came and I felt him like he was standing with me. And he said, you see how that garden feels? That's what your life will feel like for a while.
Yeah.
And as you do this garden, I will give you lessons to hang on. Right now, your life looks like everything you know has been torn, it's cut, it's muddy, it's just bad. That's how you're feeling. And I tell you, working on that garden, God started teaching me things. Number one, there were things that we cut off and burnt, because now they were rubbish. And God told me, you see the accolades of Nairobi Chapel. There are things you did there, they will not serve you anymore. Count your losses and burn. Because wherever I'll send you, if you go there telling people, in Nairobi Chapel we used to, it will bring you down. Those were the wins for that time. In the next place, nobody wants to know. Chop it, burn it. You and I know they were there. There are things we cut, okay, and planted, cuttings that we planted so that they would grow for. And God told me there are things that were good at chapel, but you need to cut and replant them. And I started we'll figure out as we go along. Then there are new plants we brought in, because I had to buy new. And God said, there are gaps in your leadership that you may never have known from chapel, and there needs to be new growth. So that when you are ready for me now to put you in the new assignment, you'll be able to stand. So God used those 3 categories. And it was very humbling to go to places and not say, I'm Janet Mutinda, Pastor Janet Mutinda. I just say, I'm Janet.
Oh.
You know? Go to big gatherings, because again, you don't want the awkwardness where you stand and people say, you are a pastor of where? Where do you minister currently? So you don't know, am I in chapel, not chapel, so you keep quiet. And there are places, and it was not badly, because God had told me. Some things just... This is now when I was thinking through what are my gaps. And I'd always said, I don't want to go back to school as a default. Because I'd seen several of my friends who had served for over 20 years in some churches, and then people just went to do PhDs just because it's the next thing to do. And I said, no, I don't even want to do. But one evening, I remember one afternoon, I was talking to a friend who, it was clear she needed to do an MBA. She kept dilly-dallying. So one time I told her, I'm going to lock down a date, and I'm putting it in my calendar. When that reminder bings, I'm calling you, you tell me what you've done. So we put 3 months. So one day I'm sitting in the house and my phone beeps and I look, oh, remind Nancy. So I call her. So have you chosen a school? She said, no, I haven't. I really wanted to go to SIU and it's... So I thought, an MBA is an MBA. You can go to Strathmore. And she really insisted she wanted to do the one in SIU. So anyway, we talked and I told her, you need to really do this thing. So I take my computer and I'm just lounging. And I think, what is it in USIU that she really wants? So I go on the USIU portal, I look at the MBA as I'm looking, and then I move somewhere else. Then I land in this thing called, then it was called an Executive Masters in Organizational Development, EMOD. It was a 1-year program. And I look at everything and I think, this is what they didn't teach me in seminary. It's like an MBA that they cut out some technical things, and it was really for church worker, church leaders, CEOs, and people in the NGOs and all that. So whether it's HR, now you are understanding HR from a proper technical point. Finance for non-accountants, project management, all those things that I didn't do, but yet I'm supposed to do as a leader. So I look at the USIU portal and I think, what? I don't even have money for this. But that one, for real, God paid for that whole thing. And I remember God saying, you'll go to USIU, apply, and you will have change. I had nothing.
So when you're applying, you have nothing?
Nothing. But God is insisting, and I'm thinking, and I'm excited about, I can see it, and I can see this, and it's 1 year. So I started applying, and then somebody now introduced me to Regent. And told me, why would you want to do a second master's, and you can still do this in? So I thought, let me apply to both and see. So USIU, I'm accepted in USIU. Right around that time, a good friend had told me, by the way, you need to go to school. She didn't even know my age. And when you go, I will give you the first 50K. So please apply. So I apply, and then all through my life in chapel, and I thank God for that culture. Chapel, and I hope it never changes. And even when I left chapel, I remember walking out and saying, nobody in this church can stand and say, I came to them and coerced them for money. Nobody in this church can say, I hinted and they bought me this, or I have a congregant's money, or they put fuel in my car. Somehow it was a very good culture, and I hope it stays. So here is my friend saying she'll give me 50K, and I tell her, I know me, I don't do those things. And she says, no, it's not for you. And even you're not in chapel, this is for school. You get us, if you got, I'll pay it. So I get accepted in USIU, but I don't go to her because I think, this is awkward. How do I go to her and tell her now? So I get into USIU, I only had a registration fee. So for a couple of weeks, we are okay. Then we start seeing somebody at the door coming, calling people, hey, can we see? You're called out, the list of shame. You guys need to pay fees. You guys. So later I meet my friend, and she says, by the way, you need to apply. I said, but I'm in USIU. You never told me. She wrote a check, USIU, 50, my first 50K. My friend who had been supposed to be doing the MBA was so shocked and challenged that I had even gone to school and she had not even applied. Out of the blue, she said, whatever needs to be covered for that term, I'm doing it.
She
put in. That's how I did that. Second term, I have a chama of ladies. They've never done it before, never done after. I never hinted, but they said they were so challenged that I would just rise up and just said, I'm going to school by faith. So 1 month during my birthday or anniversary, they decided all the money for this term for chama, and it was like 110K. This is second term fees. Third term, I meet up with a friend who we had started, many years ago, we had started a scholarship fund for kids when we were in Mamlaka. But now when I moved to Chapel, somehow it fizzled out. But she continued with that vision, but in Kericho. So she and her husband decided, this is how much we will live with. If whatever bonuses we get, anything above X amount, it's not our money. It goes for ministry and to support children in need.
What?
Imagine. And very interestingly, as soon as she said that, she got some international role where she was earning in dollars. And the Kenya shilling was playing great games with her.
160.
Hey! You know, so she decided, but I told God, this amount is mine. Anything above is for
ministry.
So they took up a school. They support a school in their local place. They feed the kids. And so now when I was meeting her, she was telling, we met at a Strathmore meeting. And she says, what are you doing nowadays? You know, Janet, you really need to go to school. I told her, but I'm in school. She said, where? I said, USIU. What are you doing? And she was so excited. She said, interesting. Do you know, I got a bonus. And we've sorted all the things we need for the kids for the year. And I've been telling God, I need 3-4 people who are in school because I want to support, away from the kids that she supports. She says, imagine it's your time. I told her, no. She's a chapelite. I told her, no. Me, I don't. With chapelite, I don't want money. She told me, it's not for you.
It's for school.
And if I don't give you, I'll find somebody else. So give me the USIU. That's how my third term was paid. So I went to USIU and it was like,
that is crazy.
It was like an eye-opener. You know, now you've come from theology. All I knew was Bible. But I'm running an organization. And KRA doesn't want to know you are a church. Right now, Labor Court and whatever doesn't want to know you are a church. Those spaces where nobody would ever sue a church, it's happening now. And so we needed to be able to know how are these things professionally and in all the technical, have the technical know-how. So USIU helped me to fill, you know, those gaps. So that was a new growth that came. But while I'm in USIU, remember I'd applied to Regent. Just as I finished the first term in USIU, Regent accepts me. I look, I think, I've already pumped in money and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot. But if I don't start my doctoral studies at Regent, I'll chicken out. So one day I looked around the class and I thought, all these guys are industry leaders. Because for that course, you needed to have a good experience and you are in senior management. So there were bank managers, and remember me, I was at home. So me, I would only come to school in the evening. In the daytime, I'm just doing assignments. These guys are coming from their offices. And then they come to school in the evening.
And go to fight fires.
So they're going to work and coming to school. Me, I'm at home, I come to school. So I thought, but why can't I go to school and go to school? So I said yes to Regent. So for 2 terms, I was in 2 schools. There's gray hair here. For 2 terms, I was doing USIU and I was doing Regent. By God's grace, my exams never clashed. So I'd wake up in the morning, I'm doing Regent work. In the evening, I'm in USIU. In the morning, I wake up. And then, when you are doing your doctoral studies, sometimes I'd look at the papers I did in my master's and I think, whoa. It's like moving from class 3 and you're pushed to form 3. And nobody is there to tell you, hold your hand, you're moving. And people asking me, what are you doing? But later it made sense. You see, I was moving to a business school because I did my doctorate in strategic leadership. So I'm moving from theological school to a business school.
Yes.
What USIU did because I didn't have that background. By the time I started Regen,
Yeah.
now this was like level 7. Ethics in business, I've already done in USIU, the basics. By the time I'm doing project management here at a high level, I've already, so USIU just helped me have such a good, smooth, I said, Jehovah, how would I have done this one?
Alone. Straight.
Alone
You
with
didn't
this,
have,
yeah. So that was just an amazing transition, and it was during that time, all through I've been serving. When I was at Chapel, I had been serving at New Life Home as a board member. They wanted somebody who's pastoral, and so they had asked me. So about 7 years while I was still at Chapel, I was on the board at New Life. And our founders, Clive and Mary Beckenham, were retiring. They came to Kenya and began this work in 1994. And basically, New Life exists to do 3 things.
Let's stop.
Pause there.
Pause there. We're coming back to stick from the very beginning, even what New Life is. Okay. So when we come
I'll
back,
do New Life, and then I'll do the part where you ask me about my marriage and kids. I'm okay to do that.